Hey everyone, as you all know, yesterday some things took place. Some of you may not know. So at 12:41, Garrett posted in GroupMe that he wanted to borrow a player, a tight end specifically, and trade for one of his players on the bench. Right after stating that at 12:41, Bernard then replied in the group message, "Down." Garrett liked this. And 7 minutes later, I texted Garrett privately at 12:48 and suggested that I give him Julius Thomas and he would give me Larry Fitzgerald, who was on a bye and on his bench. I did this under the grounds that he believed we'd be borrowing players, although I had no intention of doing so. And so, a few minutes later, at 12:55, the trade went through. Julius Thomas for Larry Fitzgerald. And then after that, at 1:38, Preston Smee and me traded Larry Fitzgerald for Travis Kelce. That is what occurred yesterday. I just want to make that clear for some of you who do not realize that. All right, so next I think we need to define what is legal and what is illegal in the league. Not something that you may disagree with or not be fond of, but something that you genuinely feel is a violation of our rules in the league. So me and Mike were talking this morning around 10:30, and we both agreed that borrowing players is something that should be considered illegal, if not already is considered illegal in our league. So when you borrow a player, one person benefits while directly harming the opponent they're going against. For instance, Garrett benefits from getting Julius Thomas, and then it harms Chase, who he would be playing. And in the end, Garrett just gets to swap back his players, and then there's no harm to Garrett. All it does is harm the person he's going against. And there's multiple different scenarios in which you can play this out. I just believe, same with Mike, that borrowing players is more of a ethical issue, or not ethical, but illegal issue in this league. And I thought it was already agreed upon that this was illegal. And now, for some of you, Chase in particular said that it was an illegal move for me to lie to Garrett in our transaction. I don't know how you can consider lying to be illegal when making trades. I know I've read multiple text messages of people wanting to trade me who may veer from the truth, indirectly and directly lie to me when trying to create trades. It's just something that happens. Yeah, mine was a very straightforward and blatant lie, but that affects people who want to trade with me. I don't believe that there should be a punishment for people who lie in a transaction. That just affects them down the road. And if people still want to trade with them, they trade with them. If not, they don't. They kind of dig their own grave in that one. All right, so now if you consider trading or borrowing to be illegal, I want you to think about this. So last year, I don't think many of you realize this. I did, however, and I confronted them that Preston and our beloved commissioner, Mike McGee, who is so strongly about what happened yesterday, made a trade or a borrow where Drew Brees was on bye and Joique Bell was playing. Mike McGee needed a running back, and Preston had enough running backs and had Joique Bell sitting on his bench. So Mike McGee received Joique Bell and gave away Drew Brees, who was on a bye, to Preston Smee. They did this for 1 week. That way, Mike could beat his opponent because he needed a running back and there were none on the waiver wire. Right after that week, they traded back. So Preston then again had Joique Bell and Michael had Drew Brees. Now, I believe if anyone should be punished in yesterday's act, that Michael should also be punished. He shouldn't be able to stand by and do nothing when he does this, but then act so viciously to punish those when they commit the same exact illegal move that he committed. All right, so now for my interpretation or opinion of what happened yesterday. Me and Garrett conducted a trade where he needed a tight end because his was on bye. I gave him Julius Thomas. He gave me Larry Fitzgerald. Yes, it was conducted under the pretense that it would be a borrow, although I did not have any desire to be borrowing players. In this trade, he benefited by having a tight end he could start that week. I benefited by receiving Larry Fitzgerald, a good wide receiver. Right after that, I then traded Larry Fitzgerald, voiding anything that would be considered borrowed by giving him to Preston and receiving Travis Kelce. This helped Preston out and it helped me out. Therefore, three parties were all benefited in this transaction. And to go on, if you consider borrowing to be illegal, then at the very least, I believe just Garrett doesn't get Larry Fitzgerald back, because that's where the issue lied. No borrowing. So we made a trade, and then you just don't allow us to give each other's players back. That's what I don't know. That's what I would, to me, the logical reasoning would be. Although I've heard some other people who state, like Commissioner Mike McGee, who said, no, the logical reason would be, or logical thing to do would be, put Larry Fitzgerald on the waiver wire. And he said this as he was working out with Garrett Souza, who will most likely get first pick on the waiver wire. Yeah, there's no collusion going on there. And then he goes, oh no, AJ has first pick. AJ hasn't used his first pick in waiver wire like 6 out of the 9 times he's had it. So I don't see how you can look at it that way. You do decide that borrowing is illegal. I expect Mike McGee to also be punished in some way or form for borrowing in the previous year. I don't care that it was a year ago for someone to act so self-righteous about this thing, saying it's illegal. He was on the phone with me and all this stuff, and then to have done this just a year ago and actually be the very first person in our league to ever do a borrow, and actually the only person in our league to do a borrow, because me and Garrett wasn't a borrow because I traded away Travis Kelce. I think he should definitely be punished. And like I said, at the very least, I believe in this situation that me and Garrett should just he keeps Julius Thomas, I keep Larry Fitzgerald, and that voids any of the illegal action that would have taken place being considered the borrow. All right, so to end this video, I just ask that all of you look over everything and decide if anything illegal actually did occur yesterday. And remember, like I said, illegal isn't just something that you may disagree with or aren't fond of. Like last year when Zach Snodgrass traded Garrett Souza and gave him Eddie Lacy and Gronkowski, I wasn't very fond of that trade. I wasn't happy about it. I was actually a little pissed off, but at the same time, I was actually impressed that Garrett Souza was able to achieve that trade and receive both those players. So I just ask that you guys honestly look over this and come out with a good, I don't know, a fair decision. Have a nice day.